The Word of God teaches that when Jesus shall appear, we shall be like Him. However, for us to be like Him then, we must be like Him now. Do you want to be like Jesus? Well, if so, listen to this devotional written by Ellen G. White. And thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel. God bless you and enjoy this devotional. Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on our daily devotional study to be like Christ. Now this month we are focusing on enjoying good health. And you know, health is one of those things that we all need. I mean, health is life, life is health. You need health to move on and be successful. And our verse today, actually our title is Follow Divine Counsel to Preserve Health. I mean, what better way to preserve health than to ask the one who created the body about how it works, right? And our verse is taken from Exodus 18, verse 17 and 18. Very interesting verse. It spoke to me. You'll hear this one. It says, So Moses' father-in-law said to him, The thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out, for this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Interesting. Now, the background to the story is Moses was sitting to judge the people, and he judged the people all day from morning to evening. And Jethro, his father-in-law, says, You know what? You are wearing yourself out. That's not good. There's a better way to do this. And it really spoke to me because I'm a man of many things. I like doing things, multitasking, but you realize at a point that you can't do all things and you have to ask others to help if that makes sense. And so in this case, what Jethro did, the father, Moses' father-in-law, he said, let us have captains over 50 and have leaders over 100, and that way we can divide and distribute work, and that way you're not weared out and you still have good health to commune with God and even to teach the people the law. Well, that was a personal message for me. I just wanted to share that, but there's a bigger message for all of us as found in the devotion. It says that when we do all that we can on our part to have health, then may we expect that the blessed results will follow, and we can ask God in faith to bless our efforts for the preservation of health. You know, it all goes back to the law of cause and effect. You cannot cheat that. God cannot be mocked. Whatsoever you sow, that you shall reap. And so even when it comes to health, you cannot expect things to happen miraculously in some way. You have to, like he continues to say here, that we have to do something and then God will bless our efforts, and he will then answer our prayer if his name can be glorified thereby. But let all understand that they have a work to do. God will not work in a miraculous manner to preserve the health of persons who are taking a sure course to make themselves sick. I mean, if you know you're doing something that makes you sick, it is really tempting God to ask for God to heal you when you want to continue doing that thing. And so I believe the best way will be to, if you're willing to change, and I know sickness is a bad thing, but when we are willing to change, then God will bless us and give us a new life. Look at every instance of Jesus Christ healing. He told them, go and be different. Go and sin no more. Don't do this again. I have given you power to be different. And so go and be different. Go and change your lifestyle, because it all comes back to lifestyle. And a careful conformity to the laws God has implanted in our being will ensure health, and there will not be a breaking down of the Constitution. If we follow God's remedies, we'll have a blessed life. We'll have good health. What are they? Nutrition, water, temperance, Trust in God. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, and trust in God. New start. There we go. New start. Those are the simple natural remedies that we have to conform to if we want our health to improve. And this is not something that was made up. This is found in nature. Read Genesis chapter 1. It's full of life, and you will be able to have a good health. Many have inquired of me, what course shall I take best to preserve my health? My answer is, cease to transgress the laws of your being. Cease to gratify a depraved appetite. Eat simple food. Dress healthfully, which will require modest simplicity. Work healthfully. That's for me right there. And you will not be sick. Wow. It continues to say that many are suffering in consequence of the transgression of their parents. We all know genetics, however you pronounce that. They cannot be censured for their parents' sin, but it is nevertheless their duty to ascertain wherein their parents violated the laws of their being. So if you know that there's something in like the family history or family tree, but if you know that there's that risk towards a certain disease, for example, the good news is that you can actually reverse that by choosing a different lifestyle. Listen to what it says here. They cannot be censured, but it is nevertheless their duty to ascertain wherein their parents violated the laws of their being and wherein their parents' habits were wrong. They should then change their own course and place themselves by correct habits in a better relation to health. And just in recent years, a new study emerged known as epigenetics, which really actually gives evidence that we have the ability to change our own genetics, so the genes that are dominant or the genes that are reflected in our lives. And so with that, if we choose right habits, we can actually reverse and completely eradicate some of the propensities that we have inherited from former generations. That's a good way to put it, former generations. The harmonious, healthy action of all the powers of the body and mind results in happiness. The more elevated and refined the powers, the more pure and unalloyed the happiness, uncompromised, unhindered, without any mixture of pain or sadness. We can experience happiness if we have good health. Now, here's the one that struck me the most. An aimless life is a living death. Wow. And so we ought to have an aim in this when it comes to health, when it comes to any type of reform, be it reformation in terms of spirituality, be it reformation in terms of health, be it reformation in terms of education, reformation in terms of how you deal with money. You have to have an aim. You have to do everything conscientiously with an aim. Because when you do something with the self-awareness that you're actually doing it for a particular reason, it has a bigger impact. It has a greater effect. The mind should dwell upon themes related to our eternal interest. This will be conducive to health of body and mind. God has pledged himself to keep this living machinery in healthful action if the human agent will obey his laws and cooperate with God. On the other hand, though, God has said that if we destroy the temple, which is the body, he will destroy us. That's very scary. And yesterday I was reading the same devotion here. The title was Obey Nature's Laws to Enjoy Health. And it says at the end that transgression of physical law is transgression of God's law. And so it's a very interesting thing to learn. In conclusion here, it says that the Lord has given his people a message in regard to health reform. This light has been shining upon their pathway for many years, and the Lord cannot sustain his servants in a course which will counteract it. The light which God has given upon health reform cannot be trifled with. cannot be trifled with without injury to those who are tempted. And no human being can hope to succeed in the work of God while by precept and example they act in opposition to the light which God has given them or has sent to them. Interesting. In conclusion, if we do want to be like Jesus Christ, we will have to, of course, we need to have good health, and so we need to have the knowledge of the laws of nature. And if you want to know more about these laws of nature, they're very simple. It's air, sunlight, like I mentioned. But if you want to go deeper and understand how that really can be applied in your varied situations, there'll be a link provided in the description below where you can watch this video and learn more about New Start. But I just hope that we all will be like Jesus Christ in our health. And just like he said, I have kept my Father's commandments. This is not something we're doing for our own selves. We're doing it to glorify God. For in whatsoever things that you do, whether you eat or drink, whether you exercise, in health, in finances, in religion, in everything, do all to glorify God. Thank you so much. I hope to see you tomorrow. And if you do have any questions, comments, and thoughts, please share that in the description. There's always a description box provided. There's always a comment section, rather, I should say. Thank you so much. See you.